In this session, we will discuss the risk of pesticides on human health. There are many routes for pesticides to entering our body. They can enter through ingestion, inhalation, or penetration via the skin. But a majority of the people get affected via the intake of pesticide contaminated food. That is, when we take pesticide contaminated food commodities or agricultural produce, etc. After crossing several barriers, they ultimately can reach into the tissues or storage compartments of the humans. Although human bodies have a mechanism for the excretion of toxin, in some cases it will retain in the body through absorption in the circulatory system. These toxic effects are produced when the concentration of pesticide in the body increases far more than its initial concentration in the environment, and that can cause detrimental effect in humans. The effects of pesticides on human health are highly variable. They may appear in days and are immediate in nature, or they can take months to or years to manifest, and hence these are called as chronic or long-term effects. So if they appear in 1 or 2 days, they are called as acute effect, and if this effect comes after years or months, they are called as chronic effects. First, we will discuss the acute effect of pesticides. They are immediately visible. They'll have some of the symptoms, and they are immediately visible. So the immediate effects of pesticide exposure include headache, stinking of the eyes and skin, irritation of the nose and throat, skin itching, appearance of rash, blisters on the skin, dizziness, diarrhea, abdominal pain, nausea, vomiting, blurred vision, blindness, and very rarely death can also occur. Acute effect of pesticide exposure are not very severe, and it is not that severe that you can go and seek medical help. The next one is chronic effect of pesticides. So these may take years or even months to produce their effect. So these are long-term effects, and they cause damage to multiple body organs. So they are little bit more effective than this acute effects of pesticides. Pesticide exposure for a prolonged period will result in such kind of consequences. So pesticide exposure can cause a range of neurological health effects, such as loss of coordination and memory, reduced visual ability, and reduced motor signaling. Long-term effect of pesticide exposure damages the immune system and can also cause hypersensitivity, asthma, and allergies. They also these pesticide residues have been found in the bloodstream of cancer patients compared to the normal individuals. So they are also thought to cause cancer in some people. Pesticides have also been associated with leukemia, brain cancer, lymphoma, cancer of the breast, prostate, ovaries, and testes. So the patients who are having such kind of cancer is pesticide residues are found in their bodies. So maybe they will be having some kind of mutation in the genes. The presence of pesticides in the body for longer times also affect the reproductive capabilities by altering the levels of male and female reproductive hormones. So consequently, it results in stillbirth, birth defects, infertility, spontaneous abortion, etc. The long-term exposure to pesticide also damages the liver, lungs, kidneys, and they may also cause blood diseases. Ingestion of organochlorines cause hypersensitivity to light, sound, touch, dizziness, tremors, seizures, vomiting, nausea, confusion, and nervousness. Exposure to organophosphate and carbamates can cause symptoms similar to those of increased neurotransmitter acetylcholine. These pesticides actually interfere with the normal nerve signal transduction, and exposure to them causes headaches, dizziness, confusion, nausea, vomiting, muscle and chest pain, the difficulty in breathing, convulsion, coma, and also death can also occur in severe cases. Pyrethroids can cause allergic skin responses, aggressiveness, hyperexcitation, reproductive or developmental effects, in addition to causing tremors and seizures. It is also seen to be seen to be associated with Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's disease. Now we have discussed all about the pesticide, their classification, their threats. Okay, so we need a solution to this pesticide usage. So that solution is biopesticide. What is a biopesticide? Biopesticide is a formulation that is made from naturally occurring substances that control pest by non-toxic mechanism and in a eco-friendly manner. Biopesticides are derived from animals, plants, and microorganisms, and they also include natural enemies. So these biopesticides, they are generally less toxic to the user and are and to the non-target organisms, making decidable and sustainable tools for disease management. So that is what is a biopesticide. What is the advantages of biopesticide? Obviously, they can somewhat they can replace the detrimental effects caused by these pesticides. So inherently they are less harmful and less environmental load. They are designed to affect only one specific pest, so they will not affect the non-target organisms, and they are effective in very small quantities, and often they will decompose very quickly, so they will not persist in the environment, and it also results in the lower exposure and largely avoiding the pollution problems. When used as a component of integrated pest management programs, biopesticides are seen to contribute greatly for pest management. Now, what are the types of biopesticide? There are 5 types: microbial biopesticide, plant incorporated protectants, biochemical biopesticide, botanical biopesticide, and biotic agents. Biotic agents are natural enemies like parasitoids and predators. The first class, that is microbial pesticides. They can be microscopic living organisms such as viruses, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, or nematodes, or they can also be the toxins that are produced by these organisms. They are applied as conventional insecticidal sprays, dust, or granule. Their greatest strength is their specificity, as most are essentially non-toxic and non-pathogenic to animals and humans and other non-targeted species. Microbial pesticides include insecticides, fungicides, herbicides, and growth regulators of microbial origin. We'll discuss some examples. The first one is Bacillus thuringiensis. It was discovered in Japan in the early 20th century, and it is the first commercial product in France in 1938. They control the Lepidopterous pest like American bollworm in cotton and stem borers in rice. So when they are ingested by pest larvae, their toxin, this Bacillus thuringiensis will release toxins that will damage the midgut of the pest, and it will eventually kill it. The main sources for the production of Bacillus thuringiensis preparations are the strains of subspecies Corsacki, Galleri, and Dendrolimus. So they are derived from these subspecies. The next example is Agrobacterium radiobacter. They are used to treat roots during transplanting that checks the crown gall disease. Crown gall is a disease in peaches, grapevine, roses, and various plants caused by soil-borne pathogen Agrobacterium tumefaciens. They affect the effective strains of Agrobacterium radiobacter possesses 2 important features. That is, they are able to colonize the host roots to a higher population density, and they will produce an antibiotic, that is agrocin, that is toxic for this Agrobacterium tumefaciens. So they will not cause this crown gall disease. The next example is Pseudomonas fluorescens. The product is called phenazine. This bacteria is used to control damping off caused by the Pythium species, Rhizoctonia solani, and such species. It has the ability to grow quickly in the rhizosphere. Next one is Trichoderma. Trichoderma is a fungicide effective against soil-borne diseases such as root rot. This is also used against Nectenia galligena that causes silver leaf disease of fruit trees by entering through pruning wounds. Next example is Metarhizium anisopliae. They infect spittle bugs, rhinoceros beetles, etc. Beauveria bassiana controls the Colorado potato beetle. Verticillium lysani controls aphids and whiteflies. Pneumonia relay controls soybean caterpillars. Paculoviruses control Lepidopteris and Hymenopteris pest. The next classification is plant incorporated protectants or PIPs. The PIPs are pesticidal substances that plant produce from genetic material that has been added to the plant. So what we will do is we will inject a genetic material into the plant, and this plant will produce the pesticide substances. So for example, scientists can take the gene of this Bt pesticidal protein and they will incorporate into the genes of the plant, and it is incorporated into their on genetic material. So the plant will produce this toxin and will destroy the pest. So both the protein and its genetic material are regulated by EPA. The plant itself is not regulated. The protein and its genetic material, they are regulated. The next one is botanical pesticides. They are naturally occurring plant material that may be crude preparations of the plant part ground to produce a powder, or that can be used in full strength or dilute to form in a carrier such as clay, talc or diatomaceous earth. So they are naturally occurring plant material only, and they are prepared by powdering them, and sometimes they can be applied as it is, or they are mixed with a carrier such as clay, talc or diatomaceous earth. An example is Azadirachtion. They affect the reproductive and digestive process of pest. Several plant-based insecticides such as nicotinoids, natural pyrethroids, rotinoids, neem products, etc. are used as botanical pesticides. The next classification is biochemical pesticides. They are naturally occurring substances such as plant extract, fatty acids or pheromones that control pest by non-toxic mechanism. Biochemical pesticides include substances that interfere with growth or mating, such as plant growth regulators, or substances that repel or attract pests, such as pheromones. Biochemical pesticides include substances such as insect sex pheromones that interfere with mating, as well as various scented plant extracts that attract insect pests to traps. Man-made pheromones are used to disrupt insect mating by creating confusion during the search for mates, or can be used to attract male insect to traps. Pheromones are often used to detect or monitor insect population, or in some cases they are also used to control them. The last classification is biotic agents or natural enemies. There are two groups, predators and parasitoids. Predators, they consume several to many prey over the course of their development. They are free living and usually as big or bigger than their prey. The lady beetles, row beetles, many ground beetles, lacewings, true bugs such as Podysis and Aureus, they are all examples for biotic agents or natural enemies. Mantids, spiders and mites such as Ampliceus, Phytocelius, they also are used as biotic agents. The next one is parasitoids. They are almost the same size of their host, and their development always kills the host insect. An adult parasitoid deposits one or more eggs onto or into the body of the host or somewhere in the host habitat. The larvae will hatch, and from each egg feeds internally or externally on the host tissues and body fluid, and they will consume them slowly. Later in the development, the host will die and the parasitoid pupates inside or outside the host body. Examples are Encarsa, Trichogramma, Bathyplectus, etc. So that is all about biopesticides and their classifications. Thank you.